Hey everybody, this is the Modern Geek, also known as Vamp Mario, and we are live. I did end up able to come to you guys for a little bit tonight. It's not going to be a long show, but we did wrap up our event, as I said, pretty late. So I do apologize for the folks that might have been looking for our normal content on Thursdays. We will be doing another session tomorrow, but as you can see in front of me, I was so happy to get in my possession the new Warhammer 40k Dark Angels, the Lion's Guard kit. This might be my start of playing Dark Angels. I wasn't going to play Dark Angels, but I don't know. They kind of appeal to me. I mean, having that particular model, I really love the model. I wanted to just paint it. Review it. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have the characters for that. My goal is to actually have all of the Primarch Marines. I think it'd be kind of interesting to have all of them as models. I've been passing on some of them, so like I didn't get Guilliman, I didn't get like some of the other ones, but I kind of want them now, which was stupid of me. But I really love this kit and this model. They redid him. And we're going to take a look at it. So tonight we're going to build. Now, what was unique about this kit, so I want to give a couple of little caveats about this kit. So one, what was a little confusing when I first went to go buy this kit was, I mean, I'm extremely happy and obviously extremely excited that I was able to get my hands on one of these. But what was confusing at the time for the kit was that, so first off, this kit is pretty much sold out at Games Workshop. Most local stores are like, wait, if you're going to try to get one, they're probably going to tell you that they have to wait until their Wave 2, because this was one of those models they had fulfillment limits. So they fulfilled some orders, they didn't others. It sold out very quickly online. So I'm super excited to get it. But what is unique about it is that when they were announcing this kit, the Warhammer community announcement that started to talk about the pre-order didn't show the, and we're going to talk a little bit through like why lore-wise this doesn't kind of make any sense. But again, if you buy Arcs of Omen and playing that, which is the event that they're doing that's tied to these models and gives you the lore to what's going on with Lion himself. What they did was, so they will be selling him by himself as a kit. So this kit ran me about, I think it runs about $120. But so with this kit, the reason why it's a little bit more money is because it obviously has him, and he's a very large model because he's a Primarch. So actually, is he a Primarch? I always say that Lion's a Primarch. I don't think that's right. I think he's a character, but he's been like in hibernation. He was like in sleep, and then he woke up prior to Guilliman. Correct. So he's been like doing stuff while he hasn't. It's very confusing with the lore, and that's part of what the Dark Omen book is supposed to be like addressing. But so they are going to release this model by itself in its own kit. What they did do that was a little bit different. Let me get the close-up cam so you guys can see what I'm seeing. What was a surprise to everybody was the fact that they included a guard, but it doesn't make sense why he has these Marines, because if he's been away and not there, he shouldn't have been able to get these units with him. But it's like his personal guard that is like with him, because he's of course a person of interest. So that was something unique to the kit, which I don't think a lot of people thought of. So when you say that the kit's $120, it's like not as bad a value, because you figure a little blister pack like this would have been about $40. So it probably works itself out, because he himself would have probably been almost an $80 model. Because I don't know what base he's on, but he's big. You know, he's like all the other folks. So he's got his little priest people with him, or minions. I forget what they are exactly in the lore. But he looks amazing. You get variations. I don't know what I'm going to go with. I'm thinking I'm going to do mask on hood as my variation, because that looks really cool. But yeah, I'm just excited. I saw this model. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little on the tired side because it's late. But I keep yawning and I have to stop doing that. I saw this model and I was like, I need to own this. This looks amazing. And again, folks in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Lion is not a Primarch. I don't think he is a Primarch. I keep saying he's a Primarch, but I don't think he's a Primarch. So let's open the box up. Let's take a look. But yeah, again, I want to do a huge shout out to Undiscovered Realms, who was able to hook me up getting this on Wave 1. I didn't think we were going to have this model, so I'm going to do, we're just going to kind of do a little sit and build. I haven't really done one of these in a while, but I thought it'd be kind of cool. It could give us a first look at the model, the box, and kind of see what's up. Oh, there's just like full-on sprues in here. That's unique. All right, let's see. We got some stuff in here. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the reading material first. Okay. So we have some of the typical things you usually get, which is assembly guides for all these. Lionel Johnson, so that's him. But then we also have this mysterious envelope. What's in the mysterious envelope? Are they data sheet cards mentioned? Oh, this is like super sealed. Should I not have opened this? Let's go for it. My guess is it's probably a... I wish they wouldn't have sealed it like this. I wish they would have made it in something that was like able to be, because you like, it's like legit sealed. Like you can't. I don't know why you would. Wow, this thing is like super bright. Okay, hold on. If I have to pull it that hard apart, no, I guess it is. My guess is that it's probably... I have to, like, destroy this thing to get it out. Oh, that's lame. If it's what I think it is, it's kind of lame. Oh, that's actually not that lame. So they're just, like, nice art pieces. Like I said, I wish there was a way to get them out without destroying the context. These actually are nicer than what they normally give. So you get some nice like concept art, it looks like. So you have him, which is that feel like the first image is him in sleep. And this is some of the stuff, like we talk about our Wednesday art show. This is kind of the stuff we're going to start to focus on, is creating like character portraits for character sheets. We're going to like be doing a lot of that type of projects where we're going to be using digital art to create this material, which is going to tie to our Patreon, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about. And then this is him up against, what the hell? They released this model, or actually they haven't released him yet, I don't think. This is who he is fighting. When he is awoken, he is fighting chaos. So the Chaos Space Marines. Or demons. I always forget who this is from. It would be nice if they told you like what this is from. So you get some artwork with the kit, which is kind of interesting. I mean, obviously they do that with the box sets, but And then this is what Space Marine Blade Guard veterans. So that's what these are. That's the guard that's with them. And so, of course, for a lot of people who are into the lore, we're all a little confused as to how he would be able to get these units, because technically he's not supposed to. But we're not going to focus on the Blade Guard veterans right now. We're going to focus on the big man himself and building his model, because that's what I want to start painting. Now, do we have... All right, so let's look. It says use alongside the core rules found in the Warhammer 40k.com. The following essential rules will get your new unit on the battlefield for the full rules. Okay. Right, so this is... They do this on the assembly sheets. They always give you, like... you know, they'll give you, like, the basic rules just so you can start playing with the model. But if you want the full rules with his abilities and other stuff, you have to jump online to find them. There's obviously alternative builds for him, and the build that I'm interested in is the... I am interested in the mask with hood, because I think that's the coolest build. I am not going to build him without a helmet. Now, if you look at his base, he's got, like, again, these little duders. And he's on a 60 mil base, so that's pretty substantial. That's a big model. So it should be twice the size, if you guys were wondering. Let's take a look at the sprues that are, oh geez, as I'm taking out half my table here. Oh. All right. So that's going to be his base. I'll tell you that already. Because he's got that nice big 60 mil base. This is his sheet. This is his sheet. So I believe those should get us through him. The rest are the Vanguard. Which I'll show them off, but like I said, the Vanguard is pretty... You know, the Vanguard sprues are pretty simple. They're just what you typically would expect, but what's nice is they have... The Vanguard always have those big shields. Yeah, so this should be all the Vanguard guys. So these are the sprues for them. We're going to put them to the side for now, because we're not going to focus on those. We're going to focus on him. And you can see just how much larger he is. And I'm just kind of looking at the sprues to see what that hooded... Oh, there we go. So we get to the head step, we're going to have to put on the hooded head. Because he's got his sculpted head, his... I'm not putting this... the one with the horn... the wings on it. I don't like that one as much. All right, let's get to it. But he's got just really impressive, cool model. I like how epic he looks, which he should, because... And again, like I said, in the chat, guys, if anyone out there can discern... Yeah, I don't understand why. It's very odd how they do the, like, custom heads. Oh, I guess if you put that one on, you don't put the 28 piece on. So it's just weird how they do the customizing. And then everything's just, like, simple and makes sense. Okay. Yeah, it's just like... It seems like they made it seem much more complicated for the instructions, like as if you had to really, like, do much, which really the alternative building on this model is just the head, the head you choose, and the only thing that really changes is there's an additional part that if you use one of the head options, you're not going to use parts of the model. It's really actually it is fairly simpler than a lot of models that I've done. I figured we can do a little bit of building, and then I'll probably build the rest of them off camera. We'll see how much we can get done in a little short stream for tonight. Just because I know for you guys, I always promise that we're going to do a stream, and I got home a little bit on the later side and thought, let's get it done. Because I did have an event today. It was a lot of fun. I had a super awesome time. It involved going to a local theater and doing an event for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I recommend highly to everybody out there. Due to the fact the movie has, technically comes out tomorrow, but some theaters were doing early showings. I will not be speaking to the movie or spoiling any part of the movie. But I just will say to anyone that is thinking of seeing it, I really thought it was worth it. Not only did I think it just very, very cool. It really completed that trilogy arc, which was cool, and just did a really amazing job and balanced a lot of different things at once, which I thought was really cool. And just got me hyped for not only its movie, but also all the things down the pike. As always, it got me into that Marvel universe, and very happy that I am a Marvel fan and get all these wonderful, beautiful stories to go watch and see. So it really just gave me an amazing ride, and it just it really is nonstop. It's a nonstop ride, so I think a lot of people will enjoy it. And I like I said, I'm not gonna say anything that would spoil it. We're off to a stellar. We're off to a stellar start on building. So I can tell you, are you like ultra kidding me? All right, guys. Well, you got a little high five from the sprue. So this is gonna stick to my hand now. Yeah, so basically, what just for folks at home that might not have realized what just happened, when I went to go basically put this piece down, what is happening here? You would think that this piece would stay on because it has a little like nub, but it literally it's just amazing to me that GW, when they make an actual nub, it just sits there. It sort of holds its place. It doesn't actually fit in it or socket into it, so it doesn't make the friggin' model stay there. And it's so annoying. But I will say, so far, I'm seeing a good amount of attention to assembly being put on this, so it doesn't feel like a lot of other models that I've put together where you're begging or trying to figure out where is this going to go, how is this going to connect. It's giving you at least grooves and things in the right place. But we are playing a slight game where you know, again, it's that idea that we're building bits to build around and building out. So, you know, which GW does a lot of that because they're trying to hide, essentially they're trying to hide a lot of the seams. All right, well then I didn't actually go get 5. That is the right piece, but that means I still have to go get 5. So I must have popped out something that was not 5. There's 5. Okay. That's funny. It's crazy how, because I've gotten so used to building models and I've built so many of these now, I do tend to be, I'm starting to be able to, it's a little harder with Games Workshop models, but I am starting to get to the point where I can kind of get where I don't need. Now this is a trick I saw another hobby person do, which is, so what they do is, but see, they're doing it with like modeling plastic glue, and so why that's better is because that means that when they do it, they're just putting a thin layer, but then what they do is when it dries, they go over it with an X-Acto knife to hide and it helps to hide the seams. I'm gonna start trying to do that method and see if it works really well, because this particular one, so Lion, is he's got a lot of seams. He's got a lot of like built pieces. So I'm gonna try to do it with some of this because I think it'll look well. I just realized maybe others are going to the premiere that I went to. Which, if so, we might have a little bit of less of an audience turnout. Like I said, I am not getting worried, but I've noticed we have a little less turnout on the channel. I know that every channel has dry spells and things, but I hope that, you know, I say it all the time with the content, like, if you guys have questions or thoughts on content you'd like to see, or maybe ways that we can do content differently, I'd love to hear about them. I was going to say, a great way is to either whisper to me on Twitch, or I think I have a feedback button set up, giving feedback on the channel. But also there's our Discord server you can join, which I can pop a link in there for. That would also get you get comments to us, because and in the Discord I actually have a link. In the Discord I have a thread for show ideas. So if you'd like to see us maybe cover different content or different things, that could be an excellent place to make some of those suggestions if you were so inclined. You know, I always say it to everybody. The reality is I can't review everything. But you know, I'd love to be able to review every new thing that GW puts out, but you know, we have to make some, you know, decisions on what we cover and what we don't cover. And since a lot of this, you know, we talked about it before, we would love it if you guys are able to give us any. There's a lot of different ways to monetarily support the channel. Actually, one of the biggest ways is if you jump over to my website. I'm both a commission artist and painter, so if there's services like that you want to take a look at, you can contact me and get details on that. That's actually a really great way to support the channel, and then you're getting something for yourself. And then obviously once the newer Patreon launches, I will get, making sure I lined all that up. I will make sure that we, of course, get that comment. Oh. Wait, what is... Oh, funny. It was the actual, like, music credit for the music that's playing. That's funny. I've never seen it hold the mod for that. Why? I don't know. That was really weird. And as always, guys, if you are in the chat, please consider popping up a comment, because I have said it, because I am not able to use my monitor for the chat. I'm relying on the Streamlabs input, and the Streamlabs input, as great as it is not always accurate. It doesn't tell me who is here all the time. So there have been many times that people have been in the chat and I didn't know that. So, don't be a stranger. Let us know what you think. And please do everything in your power to just say hi and reach out. And we're building the Lions Guard box set. So I am currently working on Lion L. Johnson model, the new model that they released for the Dark Angels. This might make me want to play Dark Angels. I'm not going to lie. We're going to get hot and heavy into Tyranids, though, because, of course, that is going to be the 10th edition box. So I'm going to be definitely going havoc on that. We should be able to review the entire box, but I will be focusing only on the Tyranids. So we will be covering the Tyranid content, because I'm not a Space Marines player. So sorry to all my Space Marines folks that are out there. Okay, now that means I screwed this up twice. Okay, so let's see. All right. Okay, that would be the reason why, because I put it literally in the wrong spot. He's got that flowing, nice cape. So, like I said, he's got a lot of different seams in him, so you have to be very careful when you're doing the model construction for him, because he's got a lot of flowing capes, which is part of why I love him as a model, because he's so epic, which is so nice. But you have to really pay attention to what you're doing. But like I said, guys, don't be strangers. Pop up some comments. But yeah, like I said, it's been interesting lately that we've had a little bit of a slower crowd, I guess, a slower audience. We definitely are having audience members, but some of our regulars have not been around. So I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody's doing well. I know people's schedules and stuff change, so I do not take insult to it, nor do I want people to think that they're letting us down channel-wise or anything like that. I would never say that to my audience. Anyone that comes and supports us, I obviously a huge thank you to all of you for whatever time you've given us. But I know that things can just be crazy for people, so I do appreciate it. And I also know that we like go on very late, and for some people that can be hard. And like today, I don't expect today to be a fully wonderful stream, only because I kind of told you guys I wasn't going to be live, and then I was able to scramble and get a little bit of time. But it kind of helps because I'm going to have to speed build him a little off camera so that we can have him available for painting later. So it actually does become helpful. I don't think I'm jumping on this sprue yet. Nah. 12, 12, 12, 12. Where are you, 12? Right, I'm looking for 12. No, I'm looking for 11. Oh, I found 12, which is this very decorative gun. I mean, being that he is like a higher, more elite. But I can anyone answer that question? Is he a Primarch? I don't think he is a Primarch. I think I made that up. I feel like I made that up. I don't feel like he actually is a Primarch. I think I am spreading lies about that. Again, I'm not a Dark Angels player. This is like the first Dark Angels model I've owned. So bear with me if I'm not all totally up on the lore. You know, I always played more Horde armies. And I always say it in most cases, and it's true in 40K. I always tended to play and gravitate to non-human factions, which when I say that out loud, I know in 40K you could argue that some things are in fact they are in fact not human, but you know, I think the better way for me to say it is that anything that looked human in 40K, I was usually not a fan of playing when I first started getting models for 40K and started to mess around with 40K. You know, that wasn't my scene. To play human, to play just generic regular units. All right, and then the gun is going to go on this side. Oh, which is going to cover that seam that I put. That's way too much glue I just put. It's funny. It's going to in fact cover the seam that I was so like intent about worrying about. It's funny. That didn't even. It just popped right off. That didn't even stay on for like a minute. That's funny. Alright, now it's gonna like move around. It's because I put too much glue. I should have put. Because now what I've done is I've created a surface of the model that's like so slippery that the piece wants to slip off. That's usually why pieces slip off when you try to glue them. And then it's also a question of where is your anchor point for it. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to figure out how this is supposed to sit, which I have to say for a 40K model, he actually has a lot more defined areas. So there's a lot more grooves and tensions, so it's a little bit easier to be like, oh, okay, his gun goes here, his shield piece goes here. So it's a little harder for me to misplace them. A lot of times with the smaller units, which I think that's where this lends itself from, is that because he's a bigger model on a 60 mil base, it's easier to place all of his bits because he's a bigger area, so they were able to put those guides and things in there. Whereas when you're doing the 32 models, it can be a little bit more challenging because, you know, like you're just putting the gun or resting it on the belt. It doesn't have like a groove or an indent. A lot of times it does, but not all the time. So you're kind of inferring it or figuring it out a lot more. Right, 13, 15. Oh, look at all that. I love that. I love when they do all the actual molding. So you're doing, because like sometimes a lot of those things will be done with transfers. So I'm so happy when they don't use transfers. 14. Okay. So let's get all this out. And the key is like, that's a great call out right there. So when you're cutting the sprue, you can see here, like, be careful not to cut off the flap. Like, really look at your sprue and figure out, is it a molded piece or is it the connect sprue piece? Because it'll definitely make your day a much harder day if you're incorrect. See, like, this is what I mean. It's like, it's so nice that they gave you like very clear indents so that you can line pieces up. Because I can tell you, with some of the other models that I've built recently, not all of them have like really given you what I would consider a good guide. Because they like show you in the instructions, and they always will. They'll show you in the instructions that like, oh, this is supposed to... I feel like this one's a great example. So like, yeah, do it from the back. Don't do it from the front. And that's a little trick in itself when you're doing like cape pieces like this. You always want to look inside the back of your model and make sure that the seam inside of it lines up perfectly. Because what you'll notice if you look at this one is that it gives you a very clear guide of like where that should be placed. But when you flip it around, what can be like confusing about it is that you'll see that like there's, it like folds on itself. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on this. So we have glue in 2 spots, and then we're gonna go for it again. But it would be really deceiving when you look at it from one side, because when you look at it from one side, like here, you actually think that you're gluing the model incorrectly when you line this up. But when you go back to the front of it, you're not, because you can see the model, it actually curves. So you have to complete that curve. So when you look at the instructions, it doesn't do it justice because it doesn't spin it around. What they really should do is do things from different angles to give you like the full idea of how you're going to hook that up. You should also get in the habit of doing dry fitting before you glue it. So like what I always do is I look at what I'm gluing, I kind of dry fit it on top, and then I go from there and like go, all right, well, if I'm dry fitting this like this, what does this have to look like? How does it have to glue? And this one, like I can already tell, this other side is a lot trickier than this side because of the way that it has to glue on. So now, because I did the front dry fit, now I'm going to look in the back and see what is it easier to line up. So first big problem is this. So I have a little bit of extra on there, so I got to take that off. Again, I know that this is like a rudimentary thing, so if you're like very keen and used to assembly, then most of what I'm saying should be common nature and you should already be doing this stuff. But for people that are new to it, like if something is not, you know, 100, if something is not 100% fitting, you know, don't get frustrated. Just like look at your model, see what you have to do. And sometimes it's very weird. Like this actually is a good example. There's like a twist and a bend to this that like I have to work the cape into. So I have to really work it into that cape because this one is a little bit more straight. It's a straight cut. It doesn't fold in, but you know, looks really good. Again, love the drama of how folded and crimpled. So you have a lot of motion of fabric. I love that. Now, obviously, once that is all in good shape, which I'm going to let it dry first, then we're going to stick that on there to complete him. You could already see how awesome that swagger is. I also like that they have pegs to get him into the base. I'm like super excited about that because you don't know how many GW models I've done where they have connected stuff. Hey, what's up? Again, we're doing the Lions Guard build. We're taking a look at that model kit. Got it fresh. I'm so happy. I was able to procure a copy on First Wave. So we're building Lion Johnson right now. Please do not hesitate to say hi and what's up. If you're new to the channel, please give us a hi. If you have questions, let me know. We talked a little bit about the model already, but we're kind of reviewing and going through it. So I'm just letting the cape set right now and this so that I can glue those together. I'm using Gorilla Glue, so I just got to wait for it to set a little bit. But my goal is to do a little bit of building. And then for anyone that's interested, we're going to be painting him tomorrow. I'm going to try to get the build done and prime him, and then we'll do some painting. Since I kind of gypped you guys on a 40K video this week, I'm so sorry about that. I was at an event all day. I had a comic book event that I had to go to. It was awesome. So if you want to check out a really cool comic shop, I don't know if you're in Chicago or in the New York area, but they have locations in both places. It's All Yeah Comics. Please check them out. And also Undiscovered Realms. It's another sponsor. Well, All Yeah didn't sponsor this video. I haven't done a sponsor video with them yet, but they're good people. Check them out. But yeah, we were over at a local theater. We were doing some comic stuff because of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I got to take a look at that movie, which was really, really cool. I will not spoil anything, but I do recommend going to see it. So, kind of in that spacey realm, right? All space-related stuff since we're 40K-ing. Not the same company, though, so that's a whole other thing. And just as a reminder to anyone that is new to our show, as always, we do painting 3 to 4 times a week. We are doing painting on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and we do an art show on Wednesdays. So if you are inclined and think that you would like that stuff, and the art stuff that we're going to be doing is all related to gaming, both tabletop and RPGing. And I'll have a new Patreon launching that will give some more context to those areas. Oh, is this not supposed to go on yet? No, it goes on. It goes on. Okay. There we go. I had to find the dry fit. Now, again, oh, that was epic. I dropped it on the floor and it just like snapped right off of him. And now, as a reminder, this kit, for people that are not aware or might not be aware, what's unique about this kit and what was a little bit of a surprise to everybody when it launched was the fact that it's called the Lion's Guard because it comes with Marines and him. So he's got, of course, on his base he has his little I guess disciples or follower. I don't know what those things are called. And again, I am not a Dark Angels player, so if I'm butchering Dark Angels lore, I do apologize. Oh, Jesus. Alright, so either I line something up wrong, or I'm... Let's take a look at some stuff. Nope, there's no bit that's there. Is there a bit that's there? Yes, there is. Okay, so let's get that off. So yeah, what was a little unique about this kit was that what I don't think was communicated completely. What was not communicated completely was the fact that he was going to come with other units. So what came off of my hand when I touched it? Because something came off, or something was coming off. Okay, it's this. I have to put some glue on that. Yeah, he so the box set came with some Space Marines as his personal guard. So while I'm just gonna let that set for a minute. I apologize that we keep pausing to do stuff, but I was like, I'll show the other book right now. But what was kind of cool is he actually came with Space Marine Blade Guard veterans. So he's got his own personal like guard unit. So it'll be interesting to see in the Codex what he comes with and like how he's played. We're just building his model today because that's what I want to start painting. The Marines I will build eventually, but they're models you've already seen. But there's that pack, and then they will be selling him later on by himself as a single model. But they're doing it as the guard right now, and it's unique. It's interesting because the guard is nice. It comes with some art and some other extras. So it's like, you know, it's what they've done, I think, with a lot of things is a little bit more pristine prestige with it. Like the Lords of Votann box and like all that stuff. When they do like new releases of something, they sort of give you the quote unquote like premiere experience. I've noticed. But yeah, if you guys have questions, comments, let me know. We're just rocking away at this model. What are you guys excited about? Is there a model coming out or out on the market that you're like, whoa, I got to get my hands on that? I know we talked a little bit about 10th edition. I'm excited for the new Tyranids. Like, I'm super excited and down for those guys. Is that 39? Is that what I'm looking for? No, 16, right? Where the hell is 16? That's 28. But yeah, well, I'm definitely looking forward to the Tyranids. And we will be doing a review of that box, but I will only be building the Tyranids because I'm going to focus on the Tyranids. I'm actually going to be splitting it with a buddy. So he'll let me review the whole box, and then I'm going to bring over his Space Marines. Because I'm just not a Space Marines player. So for anybody out there that's a Space Marine player, no ill will to you. I just never was like a fan of the Space Marines. I've kind of found the, you know, kind of vanilla. I always wanted to paint the more like crazy creatures and, you know, more alienish kind of. Which I know everyone can argue with me that Space Marines are aliens. They're not humans. Because I believe in most of the lore, they are not. But this model is surprisingly very easy to put together. I really like how this model's coming together. Now, for anyone out there who's watching, I want to just be corrected because I kept saying that Lion Johnson. He is so he is he a Primarch? He is not a Primarch, correct? Or is he a Primarch? Because my goal is to get all of the Primarchs. Because I did not buy them, and I should have, as they were coming out. And I regret that decision, because it would be cool to own all of them. And, you know, because as we maybe do some of the more custom campaign play that I want to do, I do want to have those models. The reason I didn't get them is because obviously I don't play a lot of factions. I didn't play factions that a lot of those models were coming out for, so I kind of stayed away from them because we had to buy other stuff. But that even being said, I don't really own even the factions that I currently have. Although I've remedied that a little bit, but because I play a lot of Horde factions, they don't really have Primarchs. So, which I realized that as well. You know, so like, I play Necrons. Necrons don't have a Primarch. They have the Silent King, which I guess you would consider maybe a Primarch. Or maybe you guys wouldn't consider him a Primarch. What are your thoughts? What are thoughts out there? I don't know. They don't really have a Primarch. And then, same thing with Orcs. Orcs don't have a Primarch. Gaz is kind of the closest to a Primarch that they have. But they don't have a Primarch. So, I don't know. I don't know what the masses on out there think. I'd love to hear. But again, just even if you guys just let me know, what are you working on? You know, what's in your dream list? What's in your what's on your bench, your workbench, your hobby bench, your painting table? You know, what's the next project that's on your horizon? Or maybe people are just like laying low, you know, laying low because they're like, you know, new editions are coming out, new things are coming out. You know, let me just kind of sit and check it out, you know. That's totally okay too. I know that makes sense. You know, when new editions are coming out, new things are coming out, like some people want to stay away from jumping into stuff, especially like maybe a new army or a new new factions. And I know I've said this a couple of times tonight, but be patient with me on the chat, because I have to use the my Streamlabs chat tools because my screen is not working. I normally have for your chat comments, so if I'm a little delayed or if you are writing and I'm not seeing it, I do apologize. And again, I want to shout out our sponsor for this video, Undiscovered Realms. Again, I can't say how. Oh, geez. All right, here we go. Shoulder blade hell is coming. All right, so this was on, and then I touched it with my finger. All right, let's see what we got here. Again, I wish that they would do like a peg or something, so that like it would just sit instead of making it round. I know why they don't do it. They don't do it because they want you to like fit it on so it looks like it's an armor piece on top. But it's just annoying because then you don't get the armor pieces like lined up properly, and they don't like work properly. So I'm trying to look. What I'm intentionally doing here is I'm trying to look. Basically, I'm trying to look where the smooth plastic is. So that I'm setting it properly. I'm also trying to match like the strong line because his shoulders would be moving around. So just trying to fill up that plastic. But so far, very happy with the... I mean, the model looks terrific. It's just he's got a lot of bips and bobs, being a much more decorated unit. So, and a much more powerful unit. He's got a lot more going on weapon-wise. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, there was a lot of announcements. So I don't blame anybody for not being up on there. I also picked up today, which I will probably do as like a quick video another time. I've been meaning to pick them up, and I totally forgot about them. The Magic the Gathering Commander decks that are 40k related. So I picked up one of those just to kind of, you know, review and take a look at. And I have some plans to do some Commander League stuff. And I think they did so well that I'm pretty sure they're going to do like probably a set based off the 40k stuff. So if they do that, I bought the Tyrannid deck because I like the colors and some of the cards in there. So if they do like make more to it, I can definitely you know, tweak that commander deck with some stuff. So it'll be fun. Just a fun commander themed deck. Because I have to go back and start like maybe looking at different commander decks. I had a Planeswalker commander deck that I have to tweak, but that I thought was pretty good. But I always get like intimidated to play commander like in a commander league because there's just so many people that have so many other cards. It's always hard to play in that. But we'll do a little review of it. I want to open one and just kind of play with it and see. It'll be interesting to see how they like interpreted a lot of the 40k units in Magic form. And it's kind of unique and interesting. I have mixed feelings about the whole that whole situation, but of Magic the Gathering doing like products based off of, you know, properties like that. I mean, as someone who's played Magic for a while, I do feel like it's a little bit of a cop out, and I don't know. I think it has some hurt to the game, if that makes sense. But I'm not a fan of it completely. But I cannot find 23. Where the hell is 23? Oh, there it is. That's 23. I guess that's what it looks like on the picture. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm fumbling through this model build. All right, so this is okay because we're gonna hold his shield. That's why. Okay, and then this is gonna go like this. So this has to go like this. There we go. I have to say, and I've said it for most of this, it's actually pretty enjoyable to build him because they have done their homework and like really put in like more grooves than they usually do, so there's a little bit better think there's a little bit better quality on how they put this together. Sorry guys, I know I'm like trailing a little bit. Some of it is because like I literally came pretty much right home from the event that we were doing, and said, you know what, I'm gonna do a little bit of building before I turn in for the night, because I was like, I want to get this done. It'll help me out for tomorrow, and I figured you guys would find it interesting because you know, this is a newer, god damn it, is a newer kit. I was like, everybody will probably like to see this because it's a cool kit, and we can like talk about our first reactions with it. And you know, first reactions, what do we think? You know, are we liking how they sculpted him and did? I mean, in general, I don't think anyone has been disappointed with the Primaris, with the Primarchs that they've done. And again, like I said, I think he is a Primarch. I feel like he is the Primarch, but I always like to double check because, like I said, my Dark Angels lore is not a complete tome because I've never played the Dark Angels before. Are there any Dark Angel players out there? Out of curiosity. And if so, what are other Dark Angel models that you think are good for a list? Because if I may, or think about expanding my collection of Dark Angels, what would be in some people's cases their go-to Dark Angel needs? Curious. And as always, guys, if you like what you've heard, if you like what you've seen, and you want to see more, specifically if you want to see, you know, us move through painting this model and, you know, that whole journey, consider following the channel, consider signing up for notifications, so you know when we will be live. And like I said, we typically do live videos. So 40K painting we usually do on Thursday nights. But like I said, because I did not really do a full Thursday show like I normally do, although I've already been on for an hour, so we kind of did do our show, but we did it at the wrong time. So that's why I will not say that I did this show at the time we should have, because there might have been other viewers that unfortunately, you know, just didn't get a chance to see the full show. Do we have the sword in the right position? It looks like it. But yeah, so tomorrow I'll be definitely trying to paint this lovely gentleman, because I'll have him built and primed tomorrow. God, that shield looks amazing. I just love all the details. And I'm gonna go like, I'm gonna try to stick with traditional. Oh geez, I knew that was gonna happen the minute I put him down. I'm like, I'm gonna knock this sword off, and there's the shield. It always gets challenged. I really should use the pedestal handles so I can just clamp things in place. I get so impatient, and because I'm using the Gorilla Crazy Glue, it usually sets pretty fast. You sometimes have to let it just like kind of sit there for a minute, but it usually sets pretty quickly, so you usually don't have to go crazy. But every once in a while I have to like figure out some other stuff. But what did you guys think of so what do you got, what's everybody thinking of all of the new announcements, all of the new stuff that they previewed and showed us at Warhammer Fest. So what is everybody's thought process on that stuff? Are they liking it? Are they not liking it? Do you have a favorite? Curious. And then I always like to ask people what's on their painting tables. Like what is your current project? Whether it's 40K related or not. I always ask people because you might not be doing 40K related stuff. You might not even be doing Games Workshop stuff. What if you're doing D&D models? What if you're doing terrain and stuff? Which I will tell you, I'm in the final stage process of figuring out how we're going to light and do our big studio. Once I do that, we're going to start working on some larger projects. Specifically, if you are out there, I know this is not 40K related, kind of delving into some of our potential fantasy content, but if you are a fan of Blood Bowl, I'm going to be doing my own custom stadium. I already started building pieces of it, but we're going to do it on stream and start building a bigger terrain. So I'm really excited about that because I'll have a bigger space to work and I'll be able... This is really my stage for, really our painting videos. So I have something set up for that. But I'm going to be able to do bigger stuff. And obviously we're going to do battle reports eventually. It's just... I am a one-man show here, so with more support, like folks, with viewers like you, I know I just basically quoted PBS, but we can, with more support from you guys, we could eventually grow the channel to a point where I could have, maybe potentially some other helpers. And then it wouldn't just be little old me. Which I'm not complaining. I don't mind I love making this content. Obviously I love painting and creating models and doing projects. It's all good. I love it. I wouldn't do it otherwise. Yeah, it would definitely having other people helping would allow for bigger projects. And it would allow obviously for us getting more into battle reports and playing. I will be fair and honest that the pandemic did not help a lot of the avenues for play because a lot of I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's like holding back the... That's really weird. Keeps holding back a lot of the music comments, I guess, because they use the term junkie in it, which is weird. I don't know why. So for my build, I'm gonna go. Man, I don't know what I want to do. What do you guys think? I don't want to do the non just head. Is it cooler to do the... I really think it's cooler to do the mask with the hood. And not do just... Oh, man. It's so hard. I like the mask and hood. I think you can make that look so ominous and so cool. And make him look like a true badass. I'm gonna go with this one. Part of me was like, should I go hood with head? But I've seen the paint, and you paint the red, you paint the eyes red. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. And it looks, oh, I'm not going to do that again. That shook the entire camera. Sorry about that, guys. I think that looks super sick. I don't usually do... I don't think I really have done many of the Space Marines with their, like, helmets off. I know a lot of people do that. I like having Space Marines with the mask on, with the helmet on. Because, I don't know, it just looks better. And, like, again, are you really going to walk into combat with no helmet on? Like, I just don't think that you would do that. If you're, like, going to fight another force, you're going to probably wear your protective helmet and your gear. Like, you wouldn't just, like, walk into the battlefield and be like, look at me, I'm... You know, and again, if you're a huge fighter and an intimidating fighter, just your armor alone will be notable, or, like, usually would be, I think, recognized by the opponent, like, by the other forces. Like, you'd have notoriety on the battlefield and a reputation. You know, because people, especially if it's like a faction or an army that you have been fighting for ages or time, you know, they're going to be like, they're going to tell stories about you and, like, how you are more than likely probably, you know, killing them quite a bit. See, now here's where I get annoyed with Games Workshop. They've done such a nice job of everywhere giving me, like, very specific guidelines as to where to have this live. But then for this one piece, when I look at the thing, it's telling me to put it in a place that does not seem logical. Because the yellow makes it seem like they want it forward. Oh, unless I'm supposed to put it this way? Yes, I am supposed to put it that way. I stand corrected. They did not tell me bad advice. I just put it backwards, which is part of why that happened. Okay. So it's me, not them. Yeah, it's gotta be set forward. So it has that, like, more Halo look. It's amazing. It's amazing that the bot that tells you what music is playing is the one that's getting held back. It's so stupid. Allow. It keeps holding back it because it's like it keeps being by these certain groups, and it's hilarious. I'm like, say they're going like, are real people sending messages? Because I would like to hear them. It's just crazy. All right, now we're gonna work on the base. So that is effectively, this is our man. Very cool. Very, very cool. I love it. Epically cool, epically detailed. I just love how everything is molded. I'm gonna have so much fun. And I have to say, it really seems lined up really well. There's not like too many. I mean, like maybe this one seam down here was a little misaligned, but I can hide that pretty well. But for something that has like a ton of flowing capes and stuff, it actually worked out really well with the seams. So I have to say, I'm actually impressed. It all came together pretty well. I don't feel like there were too many mistakes or complications. Sometimes I will say on some of these models, I've had a mixed bag of like a mixed bag of like craziness. Oh, I'm sorry there, Lion Johnson. Sorry that I keep knocking you over. He's been sleeping a while. Maybe he's got a couple of more. He's got to take a couple of more minutes. He's been. I don't remember in the lore how long he's been sleeping, but he's been in like, he was definitely in space sleep for a while. I think that's also very badass that he's like standing on all this rubble. Again, I love with the Primarchs and with these like major big characters, they're doing like these elaborate base builds, so you get like all this terrain in there, so it like really looks like they're either standing on the most epic battlefield, or all right, now we got to do his little like acolytes. So we got 41. So these are like his little priest guys. They almost feel like in the Middle Ages, I would call them a squire, because they're like holding his like material, like holding his hilt to his sword. But of course they do essentially worship him. Because for people that are not familiar with 40k lore, when we talk about Primarchs and we talk about all that stuff, the Emperor, anyone that's like a king or a queen of an empire or anything like that, like that's their version. That's like kind of a version of a religion, if that makes sense, in the 40k universe. So, different factions in 40k obviously worship different things, but the Primarchs or the Emperors are usually the ones that have ascended to either a higher consciousness being, have embraced different forces or such. So they are, again, it all depends on who we're talking about, because different factions, like I said, might have different ways in which they like do their worship, and it's not always the same kind of figure that they worship, and not even always the same form that they worship. So I am currently putting I'm currently putting way too much glue on these little guys, but I have a tendency to do this with certain things. When you put too much glue, that's why like you'll have that phenomenon where the plastic will seem like it's slippery. That's what that is. Again, when you use, and I should say, the phenomena, the phenomenon, which is what I was trying to say, that I am speaking to. Okay, first off, what is going on? Why is there? All right. What? So that issue that I am describing happens because happens with usually when you're using Crazy Glue versus plastic glue. Plastic glue, it doesn't have that issue because plastic glue, as I've said multiple times on the channel, the way plastic glue works, if you're not familiar with it, is that it actually melts the plastic. That's what essentially it's doing. So it fuses, or it reacts with the plastic so that it creates a bond. And it basically is taking the two pieces of plastic that you are putting it on, that it comes in contact with, melts it slightly so that they fuse together, which gives you a stronger bond and it sets quicker. But one of the things I don't like about plastic glue is if you have issues. So, and I've had this happen with GW models, for more fragile models that have harder connection types, or they have harder connection areas. And it happens a lot, like when I would do so this is like a good example, like when we do this book here and I have to do these tassels, they want these tassels to connect or maybe they're going to do this nicely for me and make it really easy to know where they are. But traditionally when I do this, okay, so this is just a general, a nicer model kit. But traditionally when I would do this, there wouldn't be this nice notch here that they've provided for me. Usually it would be like a little tiny sliver that I have to make in contact with this, or I would have to, you know, put something on there and like it would have like a little edge and it would have a little notch and I'd have to put it in there, or it would stick out a little bit and stick in. Well, what I found is when you use the plastic glue, what I've started to have happen, which was really annoying, is that if I made a mistake and I had to re-glue it, because it was melting the glue every time I did that, because it was melting the plastic every time I did that, I was having issues where now I was, I literally was going back to the model and I was melting down that edge. So eventually it just wouldn't fit properly anymore, because it distorted and warped the plastic. So I was like, well, that sucks. So I started to get in the habit of using Crazy Glue. The problem with Crazy Glue, oh my god, is that the problem with Crazy Glue is that Crazy Glue doesn't set as fast as plastic glue does. So you have to wait longer for it to set. And the other issue that I started to find with the Crazy Glue is that the bond it makes is unfortunately not as strong. So if I don't put a decent amount of Crazy Glue on there, when you drop the model, it will just like, the vibration will pop it out. So that became a little frustrating, but you know, we got through it. All right. I'm going to just go here. And like I say, guys, if you like what you saw, you know, had fun talking, consider following the channel, consider signing up for notifications. And as always, I say it all the time, your comments and you participating in the show always makes the show a better place. You know, I have very much what I like to refer to, and I say it all the time. I have, oh, what is going on here? I have the gift, I call it the gift for gab. As you probably could tell from watching this for the time that you have, I could just keep going and going and going. I try to find stuff to talk about. I don't really stay quiet when I stream, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess for some people they might be like, that's great. For other people they're like, man, will this guy just like hit the off switch? Like, dude, I'm putting you on in the background, like, just just give me a second. You know, so that could be part of could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I say it all the time as a joke, but like I try to keep things moving and lively, and like I said, I try to give everybody some input and some ideas. But you know, you may not enjoy that. But if you do, then consider following the channel. Consider signing up for notifications. There is my website, Patreon, and tips explanation button, some other monetary ways to support. I'm both a commissioned artist and painter, so I do commission painting for models as well. So great services to participate in, and I'm hoping by this weekend we will launch the new Patreon, and then starting next week you'll see lots of linked content. And I eventually want to do Friday nights as our patron nights show. I was thinking of doing a patron show twice a month, but we might start doing the patron show. Maybe we'll do it like, well, the remaining months in May, so you'll get more shows if you sign up immediately, and then we'll maybe like go to 2 like bi-weekly shows. And the patron show is going to be a model. It's going to be a sit and paint, essentially, where I'll both do Q&A, but I'll also be doing critiquing, where we'll paint together. So you guys will be able to show me what you're working on, and I'll give tips, tricks, suggestions. So it'll be, you know, critiquing and painting. So it'll be really cool. And you know, we'll may start to stem into classes for our patrons. But it's going to be a place where I will review and give you guys pointers on your models and your projects. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be our patron content. That's going to come in our new Patreon that'll be launching. That'll be game focused and centric. And then there'll be other tiers for like game related materials. So if you play RPGs, if you play other campaign related stuff, we're gonna have a lot of different things. And then my hope is to get into some merchandise. We're gonna probably start out with some stickers and some other stuff. So I'm really excited, but we have to get the ball moving, if you know what I mean. But it takes a little time to get it all off the ground. But that's why, like, some of, you know, definitely all the support you guys give is so important. And even that, if there is any means of monetary support that you guys feel comfortable giving, you know, it would be super helpful, because that, even a little bit of monetary support up front would allow me to, you know, order some of the initial merchandising and other stuff for us to add those services to the stream and to our Patreon, you know, to the Patreon, to all those platforms. And then also, last but not least, the other place where the monetary support will start to come in real big handy is for larger projects. So, you know, like, I would love, and it's, again, your support is what's going to be able to fuel that. I would love to do streams where I buy kits, I bash stuff, I do bigger projects, but kit bashing is a tough thing because it costs a lot of money to kit bash, because you have to, most of the time, you know, either buy physical materials, or you have to buy, why is there all these screws on here? You know, you either have to buy physical materials, or you have to buy, sometimes it could be very tricky because you have to buy on average like 2 or 3 model kits to actually kit bash if you want to do a certain project. You know, that's why a lot of people don't do kit bashing, because you know, they don't realize it at the time, but you actually have to, sometimes, you know, you have to, obviously you have to like break a model apart, but you have to spend the investment in buying those models, and especially if you want to do bigger larger centerpiece units for your army, you know, that's going to become a tricky proposition because you're going to have to, you know, potentially buy an expensive model to begin with, and then, what is going on? Why is there no... Sorry, guys. I think this glue is starting to come to the end. I don't understand why when GW does these bigger, like, model bases, they don't just put like something like a piece of plastic or a support in the middle so that when you glue it down onto the base, you're not doing it just by the perimeter of that, because it's all hollow in there. Now I get it, they don't want to make solid plastic because they want to make the model still light, but it's just a pain in the butt because you're like trying to do this in a certain fashion or a certain way. I think he's supposed to go here. Yes, he is. So he fits. That's why there's a little divot in there. I want to get these little dudes on here, and then I'll get him on the base. But we're almost finished. Okay, this is like so annoying. I say this all the time with GW. I love them, but man, do they make... Anytime there's a piece where you have to interlock stuff, it always becomes a nightmare. So like on this one, it's a nightmare because they... Again, I wish they would just put a marker on the base so you know exactly where to glue it, so you can make room for this. Instead, because there's no point to glue him on. Like, it's a tough model to glue because he basically has a foot, right? So you have this little divot and he has a foot. So you can get it on there, but they want him to be in like mid-step. And then I'm trying to just turn it around to get to the other one. Is there like anything left in this? It's like workable glue. Okay, there we go. You know, everything I'm trying to use to like the bare minimum end, because I'm so, you know, with this day and age and with inflation and all the, you know, with everything like going up in price, I'm like so in fear of like using everything. Oh no, we lost our viewer. No, come back. No, we always fluctuate. We're gonna be finishing up soon anyway. But I'm always like a stickler for like using all my glue and like really using everything to the end. All right, we almost did it. We're almost there. And again, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to come. Come on. I know, it's because you know what it is? I'm like really hard hitting this bottle to like get every little bit out. So I'm shaking the model when I'm like doing it too, which does not help my cause for it to stay together. All right, now hopefully when I put him on, he doesn't like do something wacky. Whoa! All right, let me get him down. Okay, let's just let everybody sit and chill for a minute. But I'm super impressed with that. That is crazy. That model looks insane. It's big. It's got tons of detail. I super can't wait to get in there. As you can see, sprues are completely clean. So here are the variations I hate this head. I don't really like that variation at all. I mean, like, it's cool, but... And then, of course, we have him without the helmet or hood, with the hood, no helmet. I think they're okay. Like I said, I never do guys without their helmets. I like that for the main characters. I do it for the units. Like when I do like a unit, I might like vary it up because I do think that's kind of cool. But and I'm saying it in a more like direct way, like saying, well, look, they would never do that. But like obviously, if you play any of the 40K games, if you look at any of the artwork from 40K, there are plenty of people with no helmets on. But it's super awesome. That's super awesome, man. I really am loving this model. There's so many really cool markers on here. And again, I have to just say, from an assembly standpoint, he assembled really well. Like, most of it went very well. There wasn't the normal problems I have. Things lined up. There's a couple of like molding things that they did on this model that I hope they do for future models, because it looks so. It was so easy to put together. Like, I loved that the pieces where we had stuff that had to interlock, the hands were done separately as one molded piece. It was great. So I'm really, really happy with that. All right, anyway, thank you guys for watching. As always, if you like what you see, consider following the channel. Consider signing up for notifications and knowing when, so you know when we're live. As a reminder, we do Marvel Crisis Protocol and indie models on Mondays. We do fantasy and AOS models on Tuesdays. We're going to be doing Wednesday art related, and that's going to be for creating custom maps, creating other assets for both campaign, D&D, HeroClix. I have a lot of really cool projects and ideas. It's also going to be maybe the place where we start building and doing things for our Blood Bowl board. So we may flip that. It may, it's going to be something game asset related. And then the Patreon we're going to launch is going to be very heavy into that. So I'll share more details of that next time on Wednesday, and we'll talk more about it. But very, very cool. Thank you guys for watching, as always, and the folks that joined us live tonight. The more folks that join us live and the more people we have during our streams is going to continue to pump our channel further and get us to our affiliation status. It's also going to help to grow our audience. And like I always say, if you can't do the tip/treasure button or a monetary support for us, consider sharing this with somebody you know will enjoy it, so that they can be part of our community and come and join us and have some fun. All right, well, take care, everybody, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care and be safe and be kind. All right.